Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's another Tisha Talks Live coming at you on StreamYard, through Facebook, through LinkedIn, and through YouTube. So thanks so much. If you are tuning in, if this is your first time to the Tisha Talks Live series, welcome. Great to have you. I always find that I get new people popping in and saying hello. So I love that about hosting this live stream. And if you are new to this, maybe you're like, Tisha, I have no idea what this is. I was on your feed and I saw you come up and here you are live. So this live stream is really a chance for me right at 4:45, the opportune time for me to get up and show up and give some inspiration, talk about a question of the day, or introduce you to a connection that I have that's doing some powerful things, introduce you, and then just get you connected. So this is my time to just, like I said, show up, stand out, and do some big things. So today we are talking about how do you eat an elephant? That is the question of the day. I'm sure many of you have also heard that saying, how do you eat an elephant? Of course, the answer to that is one bite at a time. And absolutely not literally, we're not eating elephants, but figuratively. And today I really want to unpack why we do that and what are some practical tips if you're feeling super overwhelmed or super frustrated. I even brought out one of my books that I'm reading right now, Think and Grow Rich. There's a really great poem that I want you to take note of, and I'm going to read that to you in a little bit. But some quick housekeeping notes. If you are tuning in live, I have the comment chat box open. So if you're tuning in on any of those platforms, feel free to drop me a hello, tell me where you're from. Gary, I know it says it's echoing, by the way, no idea. I'm just going to go with it because it's live and I can't figure out tech problems. I'm not multitasking. So hopefully that echoing will subside. But if you are tuning in, definitely shoot me a comment, shoot me a question. I do look at the chat during the show as well as at the replay after. So even if you don't catch me live, make sure to ask me a question. But of course, the question of the day, how do you eat an elephant? And we've already established that you eat it one bite at a time. But why on earth do we get so frustrated? Why do we get so frustrated? Well, the reason is that we are in instant gratification mode. Everything we want has to be now. I mean, COVID has taught us that we don't even have to get out of our car to get a coffee. Like, people bring it to us. And I think that when we're in that instant gratification, we're not looking at the work that we need to put in. We're not looking at the journey that it's going to take us to eat that elephant or to tackle that big project. We just want it now. We don't want to do the work. We don't want to do the hard work. So I'm going to offer up some tips and tricks on how we do that. I'm looking at some of the Yvonne. Thank you so much. No issues with echoes. Hey, Gary, it's just you. I'm sorry, my friend. It's just you. I'm just kidding. But that's good to know because tech issues have never been my friend. I always seem to have them. So thankfully, that's not the case. So oftentimes we bite off more than we can chew. I don't know about you, but I used to be a yes girl. You came to me, asked me any question, asked me about an opportunity. And I was like, yes, I will do it. Yes, I will do it. And what ultimately was happening is I was overwhelming and I was getting frustrated because I didn't have enough time in the day to do it. And I was really slacking on my priorities. I was definitely, not being the mom that I wanted to be, not putting my health first, not putting my faith first, things that were really important to me, I was slacking on because I had way too much on my plate. So there's a practical tip right there. Stop biting off more than you can chew. Stop taking on projects that don't really align to your vision, to your mission, to your purpose, to your goals. I've shared this before that my good friend Melinda asked me one day a couple years ago, Tisha, if you could be doing anything at all, what are you doing? And hands down, just out of my mouth, I was like, speaking and mentoring. And she's like, then do that. Then stop saying yes to all of these things and focus on what you want to do, speaking and mentoring. So there's a great quote by Mark Twain that, of course, says the secret to getting ahead is getting started. And a lot of us, we fall short when we start thinking about what we want to do and all the tasks that are involved, we let that stop us in our tracks, and we stop moving forward, and we stop making the progress. And then what happens when we give up on ourselves? Then we are left with a mountain of regrets. We're left with piles of undone, and we're like, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do this? So I want to offer up some practical tips. If you have a glaring project, it doesn't matter if you're in college, it doesn't matter if you're working for someone, if you are an entrepreneur, whatever, we're always going to have those big projects. And we can look at that as the big elephant in the room and start to figure out, well, this is the goal, this is the end project, this is what we're trying to accomplish, and back it out. So we really need to be looking at what is the what, and how are we going to back it up to the how? Like, what are those tasks? What are those steps that we're going to take? So making sure that we eat that elephant one bite at a time. And I love that this author, when I looked up this question, he said, eating an elephant is delusional, stupid, and it's impossible. I just had to give a good chuckle because yes, it sounds stupid, right? And it's delusional, but we can definitely start working toward it when we take it in incremental steps, when we don't look at it as this mountain that we have to climb, but we look at every step. So how can you make sure that you start to get to that finish line? Well, for one thing, I think we need to show ourselves some grace. I think we need to not be so hard on ourselves. We need to remind ourselves of the why. Why are we doing the things that we're doing? And here's my favorite thing. Celebrate the milestones. Celebrate the wins. Okay, so as you hit another notch on that belt, celebrate it. Right now, I am doing Rule of Life lessons. I started back on February 13th. It was my 2-year anniversary of finishing What Are the Odds? It was my last book on Amazon and Audible. And I decided this year I wanted to challenge myself. So I'm looking at this mountain going, holy cow, I have 52 lessons that I need to write and record. But instead of looking at it as 52 lessons, holy crap, I instead broke it into little steps. So now it's every Monday, I take another lesson. I think about it in incremental steps. And now I'm so happy to say that I only have 17 more left. That's huge. That's a big milestone. That's something to be celebrated because I took that big elephant and I broke it out into chunks, right? So that's the other thing. I want you to reflect on your journey. So often we're so focused on getting to that finish line that we forget to, again, look at how far we've come. It's again, celebrating those wins and looking at all of the steps, all of those little steps, even the baby tiny steps that it took to get us there. And realize also that in the process, you might fail, okay? And failure is not a bad thing. Failure is opportunity for growth. Failure is an opportunity for you to be resilient and get back up and so on. So we want to get out of that instant gratification. We need to know that we need to keep investing in ourselves. And that's one thing that COVID has taught me is I can always be learning. I can always be investing in myself and I can keep growing. I can definitely keep growing. So I want to read something for you out of Think and Grow Rich. Again, this is the book that I'm reading right now. Some of you may have read it. Some of you are probably reading it again. If you haven't yet, I highly encourage because it's one of those books that when I speak to students, I'm like, buy the dang book and read it because it will save you so much time and it will help you. It'll help you get into the proper mindset when you can start thinking about that vision and manifesting it and working hard toward it. So pushing hard to finish. So I want to read this to you real quick. Yes, Gary, I'd start with the tail. Yeah, me too. I don't know if I could stare an elephant at the face. I don't think I can. I know we're being kind of silly here about how do you eat an elephant. It sounds disgusting. Of course, it's just, it's not literally, we're not eating elephants, but I'm going to share, I want to read this quick poem to you and then wrap it up before we get to 5 o'clock. But I love this. And again, if you haven't yet read Think and Grow Rich, I'm taking away so many nuggets that I'm actually using in some of my presentations because they're great reminders. I'm definitely don't reinvent the wheel. If somebody said it, then just credit them. So crediting, of course, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, this poem I want to read to you. It says, if you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but think you can't, it's almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find, success begins with a person's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or late, the one who wins is the one who thinks he can. Is that not powerful? I don't know about you, but I read that and I was like, I'm dog tagging that. I'm going to put notes in here. Like, I'm going to use this because this is powerful stuff. This is, again, talking about figure out what is the what, back up the how, take it in small steps, and you will eat the elephant one bite at a time. You will get there as long as you visualize yourself getting there and moving in the direction and keep going with it. Don't stop. Don't stop till you pass that finish line. And don't forget, of course, to celebrate your wins. That will avoid that frustration, that overwhelm you feel, that biting off more than you can chew, if you keep remembering why you're doing what you're doing and moving ahead with it. So that's what I've got for you today on Tisha Talks Live at 4:45. If you have any questions, you're like, Tisha, I'd love for you to dive into such and such topic, let me know. I'm always happy to do that. I'm always looking for inspiration. Coming up next Tuesday, November 3rd, I know it's election day, we've got Linda Russo out here in Arizona where I'm at. I'm in Gilbert, and I believe she's in Scottsdale. She's tuning in, and she is my guest for the day, and she's talking about creating sustainable relationships. So if you are looking to create those sustainable relationships, then by all means, tune in next Tuesday, same time, same place, 4:45, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, to hear Linda and I chat about sustainable relationships. Also, if you are watching, thank you so much. I want to say that what started out on September 1st is me going live just as a show up and start doing this, no expectation. I have met the most incredible people. I actually got to meet one of them. So big shout out today to Dwight Lamb. He's out here. He happens to be a director over the customer experience at Bash's, AJ's, and Fine Foods. So had lunch with him today, looking at how we can collaborate. But I talk about, if you've seen some of my blog posts, I talk about not being a fan of someone. If you were actually going to meet someone, stop being a fan and start being a friend, because you can get the conversation started a lot sooner if you do take the step and you get to meet that person and see where that leads. Gary's sitting here. He's the one putting in all these funny little comments of I'd start with the tail of the elephant. Gary and I met off of a post. We met off of a comment that he shared off one of my LinkedIn posts. And he has since become my co-host. He's actually guest co-hosting with me tomorrow on Casual Convo Friday in Nate Flood's absence. And he became a sponsor of my startup business grant. And he wrote about me, or actually I got to be featured on his blog, Check Your Game, which has gotten tremendous views and has introduced me to so many people. So I want to encourage you that if you're like, I'm too nervous, I don't want to meet that person, what are they going to say? Just a friendly reminder that people are people. You can meet people anytime, but sometimes it takes you to say hello and take the first step. So there you go. Some Tisha nuggets. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, your night. Happy Halloween, and stay safe out there. And hey, Clarence Pencilman Pointer, celebrity artist. Hello, I am a new viewer. Well, I want to say welcome, Clarence. Thank you for being on Tisha Talks Live. And if you missed any of this broadcast, it is on my LinkedIn profile. Just click on posts, and you can look at the whole thing. I read a awesome poem by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, and dropped some nuggets of wisdom. And you're right, absolutely right, Clarence. One bite at a time, bite by bite. Right. So thank you everyone for tuning in. It's 5 o'clock. That means I'm officially on mom and kid duty, but have a great rest of your week and weekend. Again, happy Halloween. And I will be back tomorrow on my profile with the other live stream that I run called Casual Convo Friday. Gary Rogers sitting in with me. And we have Dan Dominguez from the Why Institute joining us, talking about the why, which goes perfectly in alignment with what I shared today on why do you do what you do and how do you stay focused. You figure out what your why is, and then you back up with your how. how are you going to do it? Just like Clarence said, you do it bite by bite by bite. So there you have it. There you go, guys. All right, we'll see you guys back next Tuesday with my special guest, Linda Russo, on creating sustainable relationships, and I will catch you back. All right, bye, guys.